Welcome back. Today we're going to install a metal corrugated wainscot, and this will kind of protect the bottom of the house or the garage from, if the snow gets up too much, it's not going to hurt this metal. And right here, I'm going to try to make this as level as possible. So right here, I'm snapping some lines and I'm installing the corrugated metal. I'm using a coil nailer for this. Now this bottom piece is called a rack guard, and right here is an example of how to cut it and do a bend. So what you do is you mark the edge and then you come over 1 inch and you make two cuts. You go over 1 inch and then another 1 inch and you make two cuts, and then you cut off that material and then you cut 45 in the center. And then you do two small notches on the very bottom, not all the way through, just a little bit. And then you can do a kind of a clean bend right there. And there's the bend. Now right here you can see I'm moving down the line. Now I'm putting this little bottom piece over the tie-vac. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use tie-vac tape and then tape on top of this metal onto the tie-vac home wrap. That'll give it a little more protection and should work pretty good. Right there you can see I've tried to pull a string all the way along this thing, but it's 60 feet long and it's a little not that easy to do. But I did get this backside pretty straight. Yeah, so the first thing you do is install the rack guard all the way around, and like I said, I'm using a coil nailer with just some 1 inch large headed nails, galvanized. Right here you can see I'm working my way around the building. Here I have to do another corner cut. Basically cut two 1 inch slots and then a 45 in the center of it. It makes for a nice little corner bend. And right there you can see I just fold it around. Right here I snap a line, keep it nice and straight. I've never used the corrugated metal on a project before, but I noticed up here in the mountains, it's pretty popular to have your bottom wainscot out of this metal. And I think that has to do with the snow and basically if you have wood going all the way to the ground, like in a log cabin or something, you're susceptible to having that bottom layer of wood probably, getting a lot of moisture and possibly rotting. Right there, I didn't like how that looks, so I pulled it off and reshot that piece on there. And we just keep moving down the line. Now I thought about putting some wood trim around this door, but then I started looking at it and I thought, I could run this metal right up to the door and it might not look bad. And then if I want to do trim on the top of the metal, I can do that. Now once I get the rack guard put in on the whole bottom, then it was time to basically start drilling all the holes in the corrugated metal. Now these corrugated metal panels are 4 feet. 4 feet by 3 feet, I believe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole every other rib in the center of the rib at 1.25 inches on the top and 1.25 inches on the bottom. And then I'm also going to put one in the middle of the panel at 2 feet. So what I'm doing here is I'm drilling through as many panels as I can to get started. I need to order some new drill bits. My drill bit, I have a lot of drill bits, but they're not doing that good anymore. I mean, I think a lot of these drill bits I've had 20 years. I need to either sharpen them or replace them. But I did find a couple good ones. Actually, I ended up buying about 6 1/8 inch new drill bits, and I went through all of them. I ended up breaking off quite a few. And right here you can see I'm gonna tape the bottom of the rack guard, get that taped, and I'm gonna start on this side. Now this is the side really no one can see over here, and because this is the first time I'm ever doing this, I thought, this is where I'm gonna start right here. And I get a panel that's Actually, this panel was a little bit scratched and had some marks on it, so I decided to start right there and just see how it goes. Now you can see the bottom rack guard is pretty straight, so if I just set these on there, it should follow good. It should follow really nicely. And basically this is how it's going to look on the bottom of my garage. Now I purposely set these windows on the two sides. I set these windows up above 4 feet so that this metal would go underneath them and leave enough room for the trim of the window, because I am going to put some wood trim around the windows. And yeah, so I try to bring out a few panels at a time and just move my way down the line. This side of the building is actually, it's kind of high because I still have to, if you look at that black waterproofing on the foundation, that's basically the level of the dirt that I'm actually going to bring in here. I'm going to bring in some DG and some pea gravel to make this really nice all the way around the garage. And that'll be actually the next project. Right here you can see I've already gone down that little side of the building. Although I still need to do some work where that electrical panel is. I need to pull the panel off and fur the panel out a little bit so the metal can fly behind it, which is my plan on that. Right here you can see I'm taping the rack guard to the Tyvek, taping over all the nail holes, or the galvanized nails. That should help it last a little longer. And then I just motor on down the side of this building. Actually, I thought the back of the building actually looks the coolest because right now, I mean, the front will look good when I get the big garage doors in. But the back of the building I thought looks pretty cool with all these little windows and with the wainscoting. Let me know what you think in the comments. A lot of screws. Like right now I'm only putting 4 screws in each panel, but I have to come back through and put about 1 million screws in all these. There's basically 100 and let's see, 60 and 68, 128 plus the front. Probably about 140 feet of these panels to put in. So it's a lot of screws. Total time to do this wainscot, even though I was missing a few pieces for the corners in the front of the garage, but the total time to put the panels up, put all the screws in, put the top metal piece was about 7.5 hours, I would say. And the only reason I know that is by the actual time on the camera, even though I'm speeding this up at 8 times. But here you can see I'm motoring on down, and I might speed this up actually a little faster. That was 8 times speed, and now I'm going to speed this up to about 20 times speed. Right here you can see I'm just moving down the line. Now you can see that bottom rack guard rail looks pretty nice and straight. I pulled a string on this whole thing and then actually snapped the line. So I'm hoping that if the bottom looks pretty straight, usually the top will come out pretty straight. Although the little top pieces that they gave me, the top cap, basically the drip edge cap for the top of these metal, it was a little hard to keep it from looking. You had to kind of, they were 10-foot pieces, and basically there's one piece right there, and yeah, they don't fit together that great. So right here I'm pulling a string across the top just to kind of see if I can keep this thing really nice and straight going across there. And basically I start right there and then work my way down. Now I'm also going to tape this piece to the Tyvek also. I think that should help keep the water over. And then the siding will come over the top of this little piece. Right there I've got a lot of the top rail on the back side of the building, and here I'm going to start moving down the side of this building. I kind of keep an eye on it with my level coming down this side. This side, actually the back and the side are, you can visualize these quite a bit. So I wanted to make sure these were as close to perfect as possible. Nothing's ever perfect, but you make an attempt to do the best you can. Now right there you can see I've got about 4 inches below that window, which should make for a nice transition with like a 2-inch, a 1x2 trim going around that window. I don't know if I'll do it over the top of the door, I might, but right here I've decided to kind of just go up to the door. That's funny, I tried to use, I don't know if you're familiar with the lasers that you put on the inside of the buildings, but you cannot see them on when you're outside. They're just not, they're hard to see, so I kind of abandoned that idea. I attempted it in the beginning. Right here I'm using an air nibbler to cut these pieces, and then there's the corner piece. Next up was to actually put a piece of corner piece. Now this is 4x4 material, and basically I just cut it to fit. The only disappointment with this corner material is my panels are 4 feet, and the metal company sent me out 10-foot pieces. So you basically wasted 2 feet, and that's how I ended up short, because their calculation wasn't right, and I ended up having to order a couple more pieces for the corners, because they should have sent 12-foot pieces. Now maybe they didn't carry that kind of, maybe they didn't carry 12-footers, but yeah, so anyway, right here I'm moving around this corner, and I'm doing that same cut on top of here, basically cutting 2 1-inch slices, and then basically a small 45-degree notch, and I can just bend it around this corner. And those came out, actually, I was pretty happy with the way those bent around the corner. Now this first one, I ended up doing a 45 because I didn't cut it right, so I ended up just doing a 45 right there. But the future ones, I actually ended up doing a nice bend. Right here you can see I'm moving down the line. Like I said, this is 20 times speed. The actual job, it took me about 7.5 hours. Right here I'm cutting another piece with the nibbler for next to the door. The air nibbler is not the way to go. The air compressor is not powerful enough. It's a little slow cutting. If you were doing a lot of these for customers and stuff, I would get a cordless battery operated nibbler, and they make some nice ones nowadays that would have been easier for me to do. Right there I put the last piece next to the door. Right here I finished drilling through the panels, and I come around the front of the building. I'm pretty happy with this metal wainscot so far. Let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, it's an interesting product. I'm not used to using it. Most of the houses that I used to build, we did a lot of stucco and or stone. We did do some vertical clear cedar on some homes with stone on the bottom, but never the corrugated metal. But it's kind of something that's been popular in the last few years, and I thought it would have a cool look on this garage up in the mountains. There I'm putting on a corner piece, and then right here I make one of those cuts, and this time I do it right and it bends around the corner really nice. Right there I'm putting that last little piece on that corner, and then I can wrap around this top piece. Now we're in the front of the garage, and I'm basically putting on the bottom rack guard for all these columns. And these columns will be pretty easy because it's only going to be metal on the front, because I'm actually going to trim out the inside of these garage doors with some 2x10 cedar. Right there I attempt to put the laser on, but you can't see it. It's too the sun was shining in this direction, and it was just too hard to see. So what I did was I measured down from the garage doors headers, and that's how I came up with those measurements. Right here the nibbler is a hard thing to do, actually. That was one of the hardest things about this job, was cutting these last pieces. It just wasn't enough air. I had a pretty decent compressor, but it just, the air nibbler, it uses too much air. So yeah, I definitely suggest a battery operated one. You can see how nice the inside, I have a huge amount of room inside this garage. I've got my excavator in there already, and my log hauler and my wood splitter and a bunch of firewood that I split last year is in the garage now, so I don't have to have it outside. It'll cure really good, season. Right here I'm installing the last piece on the last column, and then I'm going to work my way around this little corner, and I'm actually going to spend some time on this corner because I got my electric panel right around this corner, and what I want to do is I want to fur that out and have the panel on top of the metal. Right there I've got the panel furred out, and basically finishing up this last corner. Right here I'm doing another custom cut where I can bend this piece right around this corner. Now I didn't quite have enough corners, like I said, they kind of sent the wrong material, but right here is one of the last corners, and then what I need to do is actually I had a couple more corners I could put on. Now right here was a little tough because the corners, I have these big structural straps that are underneath here, so I have to drill a hole through the strap to get that screw in there. That was a little tough. Here's another corner. I think that was actually the last one I had material for. Next up, I basically get my screw gun and I start screwing all the screws in. Now I had a million screws to put in, and like I said, there's every other rib, there's a screw top, bottom, and in the middle. And I just go from the back of the house all the way around the whole building and get that done. Here's a picture of the drone, and basically you can see I've got the corner all done. I've got around the whole building done basically, and try not to hit these trees right here. Here's a good shot of the back of the building with the windows, wainscoat fully installed. Here's a shot going down the side of the building, and you can see how I've got that electric panel furred off of the building a little bit to let the metal fly behind it. I think that'll end up a nice look. A lot of times I see guys, they cut around them, and right there you can see a little bit of the front of the building. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, ring the bell, and I will see you next time. Later.